With most people's fantasy football playoffs starting in week 14, and with the recent announcement of 2021 Prism in January and just over a month left in the regular football season, we had a lot of action and activity in the hobby to unpack from week 13, including some rookie card breakouts. I know, believe it or not, guys, there is a formula for this to be able to predict the next NFL player's rookie card that's going to break out. Let's talk about that as we go through the biggest takeaways from week 13 in this video. Let's dig in. So let's start with last Thursday night's game with the Dallas Cowboys beating the Saints 27-17. And the Dallas Cowboys have the number 2 overall fantasy defense for this year, including the number 3 finish so far in week 13. You still have a monster divisional matchup with 2 top-ranked defenses tonight with the Patriots at the Bills. This is a monster AFC divisional matchup with huge implications on both sides if Josh Allen wants to continue his MVP run. Same thing with Mac Jones, in the second coming of Tom Brady for the Patriots there. Absolutely huge. We're going to talk about those rookie card values here in just a second, but I wanted to illustrate that the Cowboys also have a top-ranked defense. And Thursday night's game, thanks to Scaladesi, shout out to Underdog Fantasy, I was able to put all 4 picks together on Underdog Pick'ems and win $50 for my $5 bet. And you can get in on this action too. Just go to UnderdogFantasy.com. Put in promo code QUEST, guys. I'm an affiliate with Underdog. It's a huge help to the channel. And you get a 100% deposit bonus, instant deposit bonus. You put as little as $10, you get a free 10. You can make some pick'ems. You can make some instant money that you can then turn into card investments and use that knowledge and parlay with card investments. And I also hit on Sunday as well. We're going to talk about that in a second. So the first player I want to look at is Trayvon Diggs. And so this is something that we've learned that really drives the market, right? When you take into factor a player's age, right? So we're talking youth. We're looking for youth, and we're looking for big markets, and we're looking for winning teams. And then you add in a good performance in there, all of a sudden you have a recipe that drives the hobby wild. And it's called FOMO, fear of missing out. And hobbyists do not want to miss out on the next generational Hall of Fame athlete. You want to get in and buy those cards. There's stories around the hobby of guys buying different players for extremely low, and those are the stories that make your jaw drop. Those are the stories that card investor legends are built off of. That's how you can make a ton of ROI off an athlete. And then, of course, you have got to pay attention to all the nuances within cards. If you are buying this Leaf draft, even though it's a gold parallel, non-numbered, non-licensed card of Trayvon Diggs, and expecting you to resell this card for $100 in the future, that is very, very likely never going to happen. I can almost guarantee you that's never going to happen. This is a card for your personal collection. Now, this card right here, it is going to happen. This is the kind of card you want to look for because it's got scarcity, it's got color match, it's got collectability appeal. It's one of the hottest cards in the football card market. Let me tell you guys, based on all my experience and all my observations and all the people I talk to and the thousands and thousands of eBay listings, sold listings that I look at every week, this card will generate the best ROI for any given athlete in the NFL. You can thank me later. Just hit that subscribe button, like the video, drop me a comment. We'll go from there. Another breakout from, a slight uptick in demand is Tony Pollard. Absolutely love this. But think about also what he has in his tank. He's a 2019 rookie. So he's got 3 years of youth on Ezekiel Elliott. And this guy is fast. And he's a stud. And he's dynamic. And he's effective in the receiving and the rushing game. And he had a big 58-yard touchdown where he does not look back. And he doesn't showboat, guys. This is the kind of guy that is a dark horse in the NFL and in fantasy and in football cards. And we saw a big uptick in demand. You can see I'm on December 5th sales right here. But you can see a lot of these sales are going to be for lower until you start getting degraded, numbered. Of course, field levels from 2019 are beautiful cards. Dragon scales. There's a beautiful like Pulsar. I believe that this person got a good deal on this card because of the low serial numbering out of this. I want to see actually which serial number, because another little nugget I'm going to drop you guys, if you find cards that have the jersey number, this is terrible photos, by the way, so that's why this guy's card only sold for $125, because this is a beautiful card numbered out of just 27. This is a card that could be worth a lot more than that down the road. Obviously, as Tony Pollard's got a lot more time left in the NFL. Let's look at Star Stock for a second. Let's ask yourselves, is Star Stock dead? Every time I come on here, every week, I do observe the latest transactions, the latest sales on Star Stock in an attempt to determine if Star Stock is even being respected by any of the major hobbyists anymore. And I believe the answer is no. And I believe there's a few reasons for that. One of them being because they've never evolved and added actual photos to their website. Most of the latest sales that I find on their website, people are now using this platform as kind of like a Beckett marketplace, where you're going to look for cards to buy low that you can then have them received to you and sell them on other platforms. And that's what Star Stock has become, unfortunately. You look at all these little tiny transactions, all these different Star Stock Bs and Star Stock A, super cheap prices. That's what Star Stock has become. You look at the most traded. It was Gardner Minshew from yesterday, who filled in for the injured Jalen Hurts. And Gardner Minshew, he balled out. Gardner Minshew was the number 10 quarterback on the week, led the Eagles to a win, had some beautiful touchdown passes to Dallas Goedert. And in response, the hobby absolutely rejoiced for his cards. And so you can see here, there was actually an entire page here on the latest transactions of Gardner Minshew cards. But we're talking max of $7.50, guys. So very, very low in sales for Star Stock. And there will be an entire video that I'm going to make specifically addressing Star Stock and where they're at, and basically a call to action for Star Stock to hopefully they will evolve, or they will be, phased out, or maybe they can continue to stay afloat and just do the breaks and kind of do their thing with what they've been doing. But I think they really should take the next step, even if that means to increase their fees in some capacity. But back to the large volume of sales here, you can see all the sales here on eBay. Most serious hobbyists are using eBay primarily. They're using some MySlabs, using some Twitter, Instagram, Facebook to make some transactions as well. They're using a lot of different platforms to their resource. They're probably even using a lot of card shows now as well to set up a table, especially if it's economical and it makes sense to do so, and make some cash transactions. But here's a beautiful card. I mean, in this card, in terms of other 2019 key rookies, like if we were to look at a Kyler Murray. So Kyler Murray was the number 1 quarterback on the week. Thank God. Welcome back. I needed him back on my fantasy team. Kyler Murray, the number 1 fantasy quarterback for week 13. And here he is on eBay. Let's look at what his rookie ticket autos are selling at now, being, top 5 quarterback overall. He would be number 1 and easy front runner for MVP this year if it weren't for the injury, the ankle injury that set him out 3 weeks. So yeah, I mean, it's a no-brainer. You look at his cards, 15. These are graded. Let's see if highly unlikely we're gonna find a raw one, but leaps and bounds comparison. Just to give you an idea. Here we go. A good base one in auction November 28th. Even the base cards of these are inserts of the contender set. They're not very common cards. They're definitely a short print insert with an on-card auto. Makes these cards absolutely incredible card to target for any player. In fact, I use it more and more every day to gauge where a player's stock is at overall, because this is what I consider now a premium card. And so this is an optic contenders with a sticker, so it's definitely going to go under even what a base one with an on-card autos just hold more value. Another little nugget for you guys to stash away there. But let's continue on, because Tom Brady had the number 2 overall fantasy finish for this week in week 13, besides the 2 quarterbacks going tonight, Monday night. Number 2 overall finish. Interesting game plan there in Atlanta. He even had a little ugly pick six, which was a little snafu, just a touch behind Leonard Fournette screenplay in their own goal line, and turned into a pick six. But overall, Brady had an incredible QBR through the first and the third quarter and was able to lead the Bucs to win. Chris Godwin had an absolute monster day, 17 targets, tons of yardage, and Tom Brady, is the safest investment you can find in football card market. Definitely want to be sure you're not buying a reprint or a refrigerator magnet or a sticker. Definitely want to research the seller. Research the seller. Maybe just stick with graded cards for Tom Brady. And he's definitely got a few different options. Of course, his playoff ticket. It's obviously, his playoff ticket is going to go for tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars. The highest sales in the market is broken records. That's the Bowman Chrome Refractor, another beautiful card. But there's his playoff contenders, September 17th, $100,000. There's another one, monster values, very expensive. The guys that have stories from buying Tom Brady rookie cards back in the early 2000s. I mean, that's the kind of stories that drive the FOMO that we see today around guys like Mac Jones. Because you look at a guy like Justin Herbert, the 2020 Rookie of the Year. We saw his cards be the crown jewel last year of the rookie card class, of the FOMO class, right? And just for comparison, I want to share this with you guys. The Chargers did win on Sunday over the Joe Burrow-led Cincinnati Bengals. T. Higgins had a monster day. T. Higgins ended up finishing as the number 3 wide receiver on the week, even though they lost. He's the number 26 overall in the season because he's been out a few games with injury and took a backseat a couple weeks to Jamar Chase. But you saw another really ridiculous drop from Jamar Chase in this game. And just some of his drops are really ugly. And I think that at the end of the day, T. Higgins is a better wide receiver than Jamar Chase. Now, they are a little bit different athletes in terms of how they're built and stuff. And, of course, T. Higgins is not Justin Jefferson, who is the number 3 overall wide receiver on the year, number 1 fantasy receiver for Week 13. But going back to their quarterbacks, Justin Herbert, here you can see his base Donruss rated rookie PSA 9 selling today for $60. And we can compare that to a Mac Jones selling yesterday for $410, $500. And so this is what FOMO can do to the hobby. And they're not even taking into consideration that there's about to be a dozen new sets released from Panini for 2021 in the next month to 2 months. 3 months, you're going to have 20 new sets. 4 months, you're going to have 25 to 30 new sets. And that's the lay of the land. And if you're not aware of that release calendar and aware of what's going on, you're definitely going to get burned, especially if you're buying Mac Jones PSA 9 base Donruss rated rookie cards for $400. You got to compare that to other stud quarterbacks from similar years. Compare him to Justin Herbert. Compare him to Joe Burrow, who are the cream of the crop from 2020. Joe Burrow's as tough as they come, man. That pinky injury, no joke. Compare him to Patrick Mahomes, even, crying out loud. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, they won that game last night, but a huge credit to that win was their defense. Their defense has been playing really good the last few weeks. And Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, still almost non-relevant in that game last night. Very quiet. And still, Patrick Mahomes' prices continue to they've kind of flatlined a little bit. It's hard because most of the people that invested in him before the season, they've just done nothing but slowly gone down, and so that's going to force a lot of people to hold on to them because they're not going to want to lose that much money on his cards. And certainly some people are going to buy those rated rookies of Patrick Mahomes, as now they're trending back up. They're on an ascension. I mean, he didn't play terrible last night. You could say that one interception was not entirely his fault, and so his card values have kind of flatlined, but this is down still 100% from what it was around draft time earlier this year. And compared to Mac Jones, I mean, you're now looking at Mac Jones' values getting close to Patrick Mahomes, which is absolutely insane, and it doesn't make any sense. In terms of skill position, though, we mentioned Justin Jefferson, but in terms of running back, You don't have to look any further than Jonathan Taylor. He is the number one running back right now in the season. He's also the number two running back on the week and week 13. And people are definitely willing to spend quite a bit of money on his numbered autograph cards, over $100. Even cards of him in his college uniform from Wisconsin. Jonathan Taylor just such a stud. The Colts continue to win. I mean, they did lose against the Bucks, but other than that, they've won some pretty impressive matches. They were supposed to beat Houston yesterday, so no surprise there. But I guess the matchup I'm specifically referring to is them trucking over the Buffalo Bills. That was a big, huge statement game. Look at the price. Some of these, like this is an SGC 10, of course, so it's going to add a nice little value boost to it. But beautiful rookie ticket value. These cards that are short print with an autograph and potentially a serial number are going to jump out of the fold. They're going to jump out of that tier of being stuck in that $10 to $30 price range. That's what's going to get these cards to jump out. It's either that or it's got to have a serial number, some color match, rareness to it, add a high grade to it. Now that can drive it to jump out as well. See, we add some color to it. We add a slab to it, nice high grade. Now all of a sudden we're jumping out of that price tier a little bit. Of course, a gold is going to become with a very short serial number. Those are the things that drive those prices up and up. At scarcity, like we talked about, Justin Jefferson is our other 2020 crowning jewel in terms of skill position. And he was the number one wide receiver finish on the week, even though they lost. Detroit Lions get their first win. Huge game-winning touchdown. Very thankful for it because I had Amon-Ra St. Brown on my fantasy squad catching that game-winning touchdown as Jared Goff led the Lions to their first win on the year, man. But Adam Thielen down with an injury in this game that definitely affects Kirk Cousins' game. Forced him to rely on Justin Jefferson even more, which Justin Jefferson gets it done. You could do that because Justin Jefferson is an absolute stud. He's on a Hall of Fame trajectory so far, and he's only in his second year. And that's the kind of things that will drive rookie card values absolutely wild. So you'll find tons of elevated prices on Justin Jefferson, sticker, or auto RPAs. Even though his base prisms, they're not going to jump out of that tier list we talked about unless you add the color, you add the short print element to it, you add a slab to it, put it in, give it a high grade. That's what's going to cause those to jump out. Like, look at this red cracked ice, not color match. Red cracked ice is a nice card, short print, not one of the shortest print prisms, but it's a PSA 10 format. Now all of a sudden you could sell that card for a couple $100, and that's what we see time and time again. Of course, the cracked ice rookie ticket autos, these are grail cards. These are extremely short print cards numbered out of typically like 22, 27. These cracked ice rookie ticket autos are the most highly valuable cards in the hobby. Popular besides golds, autographed kind of stuff with really high grades. Man, absolutely incredible card. Or of course ones of ones, stuff like that. And those are all the different complexities and nuances in the cards, and that's why you subscribe to this channel. This video is breaking down the big takeaways from Week 13. Like Kittle Mania, man. Kittle, even though they lost their game, George Kittle, number one overall tight end on the week. Number 3 overall for the season in terms of fantasy. Gronk had the number 3 finish on the week, number 13 overall on the season. T.J. Hawkinson on the Lions, man, number 4 on the week, number 4 overall for the season. Travis Kelce finished number 23 on the week, but he's number 1 overall for the season. Definitely on a Hall of Fame trajectory. Gronk's a lock for the Hall of Fame. T-Hawk's got a lot of time left. He's just on a bad team. Kittle Mania is on a team that's middle of the pack. Unfortunately, they lost in their division matchup yesterday to Seattle. Very close game that came down to the wire. But Kittle was a dark horse. There's stories of guys buying Kittle rookie ticket autos back in 2017, 2018 for a couple bucks. And if they held those till now and got them graded, I mean, they're licking their chops. They're, made 20, 30, 50x their money. Sure, they had to hold on to those cards, but if they really believed in Kittle back then, and studied his college resume and studied his athletic profile, looked at his explosiveness and speed and catching ability, that's what, sends up red flags that you want to invest in that player. And if you really believe in them, double down on them, man. Stock up, man. Stock up. Buy as many as you can at those low price tiers in anticipation that they're going to go nuclear. And if you did that with Kittle, then because Kittle wasn't printed in a whole lot, because Kittle came with very little, if any, draft capital. I like to use playerprofiler.com. Shout out to Roto Underworld for any type of player investigations that I do. I just come over here, type in a little player name, and I am taken to their athletic profile, and I could see that Kittle was taken in the 5th round. That's why Kittle was not printed in all the major rookie cards. But I can come here and say, oh, wow, Kittle's speed, his burst agility, his catch radius, his 40-yard dash for a tight end of 4.52, this is all off the charts. This is all off the charts, guys. He just went to a small school in Iowa, and best comparable to T.J. Hawkinson? Wow, okay. So even if he hasn't gotten that opportunity yet in the NFL, that could lead me to say, wait a minute, this guy's got rookie ticket autos going for way too cheap. So that's one thing to look at. I mean, T-Hawk is still on his rookie contract with the Lions, but that was 2019. T-Hawk's contract is going to come up for renewal, and you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, he may go to a new team, or the Lions may get better. They're in a rebuilding mode. They spent a lot of draft capital on the offensive line. Got to rebuild the defense. But here we're looking at rookie ticket autos of 50, 75, and these are up just based on his fantasy performance alone. These are not as low as what they could potentially be for a player that is totally flying under the radar, that's in total sleeper mode, but still these prices aren't bad because of the scarcity around the rookie ticket auto. The supply of them can disappear in an instant, and that player goes out and breaks out. Now all of a sudden you get those high-end, those serious hobbyists wanting to collect, invest in the card, and sometimes you capture some of those impulsive buyers, and that's kind of some of the things we look for. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, got some nuggets to take away from it. I got to get out of here. I'll see you in that next one. Peace. Yeah, it's been a great day, man. My dad ordered me a new microphone. Got it coming on the way. Shout out to him. The man. You are the OG. Paterfamilias. Say peace.